Good morning, Diane Miller. Greetings and salutations. How are all my artsy friends today? So good, I hope. So good. Are you ready to get artsy today? I sure am. If you are brand new here, if you would do me the enormous favor of liking and following Anne Corbiere-Scott Designs on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, I would greatly appreciate it. And if you would ask to join our private Facebook group, Let's Get Artsy with Anne Corbiere-Scott, I would really appreciate that too. And you will too, because by joining that group, you will have just the best group of artsy, creative, kind, encouraging friends you'll ever meet. And one of the questions to join is I ask for your email address. And so that way you can be on our newsletter distribution list. And that's the way you keep abreast of all the fun stuff that's happening. So if you would do that, that would be tremendous. I would greatly appreciate it. Good morning, Sue. I got your lovely note and I will write something back to you. You totally touched my heart. Thank you very much. Good morning, Aunt Mer. Hey, Keels. Hi, Beth and Lita. I sound like Romper Room, don't I? And Carol and Diane. How is everyone this morning? Hey, Carm. So I have, I always say I have so much to talk about, but I kind of do. So a couple of things. So remember we talked about underpaper, and you could go to the art supply store or a big box store and buy a pad of newsprint. But if you are like me and you get things in the mail, watch your packaging, because oftentimes items come in the mail wrapped in a sheet of newsprint. Save that newsprint. Save it. Because, so this one was a huge sheet, so I cut it in half, and that's the one that's under my my Ranger mat today. So just know you can have many sheets that you just keep creating on, and then in our art journaling classes we will be using that to create art from art. So that was one of the first things that I wanted to talk about. That absolutely Keels. I mean, think about how many packages you get, and it's oftentimes either wrapped in newsprint or sometimes like a craft paper. That's really cool too. So, just save all of that paper. The artist in us can't, I can make something out of that. That's our famous last words, right? So just know that, and you're doing something nice for the environment. You're making art out of something that other people thought is trash. Let's see. So the Amazon affiliate link is still a work in progress. It was not as easy as I thought it would be, but I have a couple of calls in for some possible help. Let's see. Oh, today's music is a Spotify channel called Pop Goes Classical. It's lovely. So check that out if you might. Oh my gosh, that's amazing, Carol. That is amazing. Ooh. I will go, you know what? I will go ask some of the Peoria and Glendale newspapers about that. I think Carmen and Joni and I could make all kinds of stuff out of that. So let's see. I have a cool quote that I came across in my early morning perusing that I thought, oh my gosh, my girls would love to hear this, because I love to hear it. Give every day the chance to become the most beautiful day of your life. And that was by Mark Twain. Brilliant, right? So, let's get started. So we're going to play with the Melissa art printable again today. And I have a fun new, it's not new, but it's a painting technique that I want to play with on the Melissa, because it's full of flowers, and so that I felt like it lent itself to the Urim paint style. So it's watercolor, and it's really loose watercolor. So you see, we're gonna go beyond the you do not have to concern yourself with staying within the lines with this art technique. And just know that it is layers and layers and layers. So I'm going to start with a watery wash. I was a little heavy-handed with my purple up here, so I'm just going to kind of go back up here with my wet brush. And you can do this like I've said in the past, with whatever brush you have. If you have round brushes, or if you have water brushes, whatever you have. If you have brushes that came in your paint set, use whatever you've got. This one especially, because you don't need to be precise at all. So, and just know that if you have, if you kind of went overboard a little bit with paint in one section, you can absolutely go back with your wet brush and just pull some of that paint. Remember, I don't waste that color. So I'm just going to continue to build, and you see that I'm kind of creating like a blob of color, like I did it with the yellow. See, I got kind of heavy-handed with the yellow too, but, and then just wipe that excess color off onto your underpaper. Let's see, where are we gonna go next? I think I wanna do, it helps, I think, the most to make your watery wash on your palette and then pull from there. So we're gonna have this wild rose. We're gonna just pull that. And this water brush is part of the Vicky Bouton set. And you know what, it's an oldie but a goodie. I will just tell you, I love this set because you get 6 brushes for like 20 bucks. Now it might even be less than that. And they're all different shapes and sizes, so that, you know. So you see, we're just getting like that watery wash that I love. Good morning, Morgan. How are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you would like and follow Anne Corbiere-Scott Designs on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, I would greatly appreciate that. And then please ask to join our private Facebook group, Let's Get Artsy with Anne Corbiere-Scott. One of the questions there is, I ask for your email address so that you can you can receive our newsletter. You'll be happy. I promise. It's not too much reading, because I'll just tell you, I don't like those newsletters that are too much reading. So, I think this was a yellowy. I think I'm going to try this yellow that's a little more goldish. But remember, in your paint sets, you can mix a million colors. So we're just gonna come in here. I'm just gonna add a little bit more water so I can use that same base of paint. Okay, let's see. So do you get the idea? We're just going to continue to build these watery washes. Beth, did you send me your email address? if you would DM me your email address, if you can direct message me your email address, I'll get you on the list right away. Lita, underpants is funny, no matter how old you are. If not, don't worry about it, Beth. I will just send me your email and I will get it off to you. So I send them out on Fridays usually, but remember next week I will be sending them on. I will be sending the newsletter on Thursday. So I'm going to these Indian paintbrushes. I'm going to make the centers kind of a gold. So I want to show you some cool ways that you can mix right on the paper. So let's get some of that orange and we'll make a watery wash of it. See, that's still really gonna start moving that paint. Wipe off the excess paint on my underpaper. Get some water going again. Then I'm gonna pull some of that paint. I'm gonna smush it out so I have a nice watery wash. So remember, we want it to be really, really quite loose, our watercolors. Because, and remember, we're going to be building and building and building layers and layers of color. And so I like to kind of try to get it to go out to white so that the next color, whatever the next color is, will just kind of blend right into that color. Do you know what I mean? So let's get some green going. Get some green here. And for this, I would use a bigger brush just because it's easier to spread color with a bigger brush. You're going to cover more area, right? There we go. I know it looks kind of crazy right now, but I promise it gets cuter and cuter and cuter as we go. So let's, down here, can you see all of the, let's see. So on the one I painted the other day, I was much more careful about the, about my color, my application of color, I should say. This one, because it's such a loosey-goosey, I'm gonna really work on, if you start to get, like where you want to, I knew you would, Miss Aunt Myrrh. So if you get to the point where you're really wanting to blend those colors, squeeze it, like paint off the excess paint on your brush, then squeeze, if you're using a water brush, you just want to come back in with kind of a clean, clear water in your water brush or in your round brush, whatever. And then you can kind of scrub those colors together. You know, our Jiggy Jaggy blend. That will make a difference. So, these, I think I might have left this flower white on my original, on the sheet that I painted on Tuesday. And I made the center, I think I might have done it kind of yellow, which I thought was kind of pretty. So I'm just gonna loosey-goosey get that yellow center. And then these kind of have a yellow center, so we're just going to loosey-goosey them too, just that center. And then let's do this set that's up here too. We're just gonna kind of, like I said, no details yet, just get some loosey-goosey water colory washes, right? And it's okay if one color goes over another, I promise. You can come back with that clean, remember we talked about the clean water in your brush, and then just scrub one color into the other. But if it doesn't work, that's all right. I promise. There's going to be so much else going on, you won't even, all of that won't even, it won't even come into your radar. So let's get some green here. What was the other thing? Okay, so a little bit of green here, a little bit of green here. Get some green in the background here if I wanted. Okay, we'll get a couple more. So let's get the blues on the forget-me-nots, and then the brown center on the black-eyed Susan. And you see how that's just kind of loosey-goosey going into the other petals? It's okay. All right, let's see. I think I mixed up like this kind of a blue and purple for the, let's get some more water in there. So we have a nice watery wash for the forget-me-nots. Fill those in. I'm telling you, I'm loving this radio. I'm loving this Spotify station. It's just easy to listen to. I told you I kind of do best when I'm creating. If I'm creating with people, like this, I do better if I just have instrumental. When you guys aren't here, I sing to the top of my lungs, which is oftentimes bothersome to Jeff, who's working in his office upstairs and is often on calls. So I kind of have to be careful. So little by little, we're just gonna loosey-goosey this, I said. And you see how I've got two kinds of purples working in here, and I love that because then there's not any, then we have like this automatic dimension. Do you know what I mean? Like a little bit of blue and a little bit of purple, and it's automatically kind of creating this dimension. And really cool visual interest. Okay, do I have anything? Oh, I need to see a little, some green. Right here needs some green. Right here needs some green. Deepen that one up a little bit. Okay, oh, the center of these. I want those a little bit green, I think. Okay. So now we're going to just dry it with our heat gun. After we just do this little bit of a wash, right? I know it looks kind of funky right now, but it'll get cuter and cuter and cuter as time goes on. Promise. And remember I said it's going to be layers and layers and layers of color. So don't, it'll get worse before it gets better. Ooh, everybody make sure you have a nice refreshing drink. I have some icy water. Okay, so now we're gonna do something crazy. I'm gonna take a round brush and I'm going to just start to splatter, but almost like in that area. Do you see what I mean? Like I'm gonna splatter paint the purple on the purple, yellow on the yellow, that kind of thing. So let's get that purple off there. Now let's do yellow, which we should already have, right? I'm gonna do a little bit on these Indian paintbrushes, just because it's pretty. Okay, let's do the orange on the Indian paintbrushes. Let's get a little more water going on there. And remember, this is gonna be layers and layers of this. So, oops, I should have done that on my paper. Pink. So let's get some of this pink going. And then I thought we had some of this pink we could splatter too. I'm gonna add just a little bit of water to each of these so I have a little bit more loose watercolor. So let's do some pink splatter there. Ooh, that's really watery. And down here. Okay, did it do, oh no, I didn't do everything. I need to do the forget-me-nots. So let's get some water going over here. Pull some of that purple up there. So this one's really painterly, you guys. So just so you know. Okay. Now, let's dry that so that we don't just smear it with our next layer. So, is anybody a basketball fan around here? We, in 1993, when our child was born, that's when the Suns went to the playoffs, and it was, oh my gosh, it was so amazing because the whole city was behind them. There's just nothing like that, you know? And like everybody drove down to the newspaper office downtown, the Arizona Republic, and they got these signs and everybody put them in their windows. It was amazing. So now the Suns are in the playoffs again. They're in the finals. And I'm telling you, it is so fun to watch. Okay, so now these are dry. And now let's come in with a finer brush and we can start to build up the color on each of these individual flowers. So, but we're still gonna do watery washes. You know, we're just gonna build that slow build of watery washes. So, I've got some purple over here. I'm gonna add a little bit more water, but then I'm gonna start to build a little bit more definition, right? As we go along. And I'm just, again, just super loosey-goosey with this. But this, I'm not being as loose as I was with the watery wash, but I'm still not being terribly concerned about staying within the lines. Remember, this is only, well, this would be the third layer, right? We had our watery wash, we had splatters, and now we have a secondary watery wash. And don't you love how those splatters are peeking through? It's going to get better and better and better. I can't wait for you to see. And I was just kind of wanting something new and different this morning. Something, you know, a new challenge. So now I'm going to turn my paper, making sure I'm still within the camera range. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. Just little by little, build up those colors. That got a little bit muddy because I think there was a yellow splatter, but that's okay. We'll just keep going. Yep, did it again. That's okay. Little by little. So like I said, we're just going to continue to grow this, these layers and layers and layers. And as bright as the background felt when we first did it, it's going to start to fade out because our flowers and our leaves are going to start to be more and more defined. And remember, we've got a little bit of stipplings on some of these at the tippity top, so deepen those a little bit too. Right? So there we go. Clean your brush off on your underpaper and squeeze it out. Okay, so that class is, sorry, Sue. Sue, the painting in the dictionary class will be, it is called Wordsmith Art. It's a class I've taught forever and a day. And it is sort of like Bible journaling, but in a dictionary. So if you're not comfortable painting in your Bible, or if you're not, if you want something a little more, what's the word I want that is not religious? You understand what I'm trying to say. So it's like art journaling in a dictionary. And because I named it Wordsmith Art, like I said, years ago, because I love art and I love words. And so I wanted to create a fun way to meld those two together in an artsy way. And so that's what we're going to be doing. So you just need to go get you an old dictionary, and you can go to the secondhand stores, you can go to yard sales. Oh, they're everywhere. Sue, I thought that we did it at Susan's store. I thought you were in that class where we did it at Susan's store. I'm trying to think. Yeah, so I pick a word and I draw some artwork, and then we create together. So it'll be super fun, I promise. So it will be on the last day of the month, or the last Saturday of the month. I picked that day originally because there was an open Saturday. But then I realized July has 5 Saturdays. And so I'm not exactly sure what we're going to do in August, but I'll figure it out. Okay, so now let's start to build some of the other colors. So we did the purples. We could start to do the pinks. Let's do the outside of these pretty little flowers. So I swear I thought we did it at Susan's store. When I taught the 3 classes in one day. Do you remember I taught lettering and dictionary, the art journaling, and Bible journaling. I swear I thought I did, but you know, who knows? And I swear I think you did all 3. So again, we're just gonna start building up those little by little, building up these watery layers of color. All right. Let's get that paint off there. Let's come in here. We're just gonna start to build up a little bit of definition, but still really loose. Do you see how it's just starting to, like, little by little, it's starting to take shape? But again, I'm not trying too hard to stay within the lines. Just slightly more concentrated color application than the first layer. Oh, Sue, you're a funny girl. So little by little, let's work on these layers of definition. Little by little. Okay. Now, let's see, what do we need to do next? Hi, Cairo Kim. How are you? I haven't seen you in forever. What's going on? So we are creating on my new art printable named Melissa, which is an entire sheet of flowers. And we are doing a new, well, not new, but a new to this class, a new painting technique called arum. So I'm gonna pull a little bit more of this goldy yellow in the center here. And then I'm gonna do the same thing here, where I'm just little by little adding bits of definition. This is really fun because you don't feel any kind of pressure, which we shouldn't, right? Because this is our peaceful practice. Okay, let's turn this. We'll get some of these, all these petals on the Black-Eyed Susan. So we're just trying to fill each of those petals with a little more color, but still kind of loose. But remember, like, we don't have to cover the whole thing. We just want to get some more color in there. But we want a little bit of that underneath color to just keep peeking through. Okay. Oh, so now let's get a little bit more in the center of these forget-me-nots. And then in the center of the Indian paintbrushes. Hey Mary, how are you? So let's get a little bit more here and here. Perfect. Oh, did I do some right there? I don't think so. So I'm just slowly building that color, right? So now let's go to the orange for the Indian paintbrushes, and we're just going to, again, just loosey-goosey, right? And then we're gonna pull a little bit more of that orange into this bud of a Indian paintbrush. Okay, let's get a little bit more here. All right, so now let's dry. Oh, Kim, thanks so much. How are you? I haven't talked to you in forever. Stinking COVID. So we're gonna dry this layer. And you see I'm a little bit curly down here, so I'm gonna take a minute once it's all dry. I see a little wet spot right here. Once it's all dry, I'm gonna take a second while it's still warm to really break those fibers again and bend it backwards, but gently. So I'll finish drying that. Okay, so now while it's still warm, I'm gonna take my finger and just kind of roll it. You know, like if you were doing those, right there. Can you see what I'm doing there? Where I'm just rolling it, rolling it, rolling it along my finger. And that will, that's probably a terrible sound to listen to. Sorry. Okay, so that'll flatten things out a little bit. So now we can do a couple of things. So it's time to splatter again, but this time let's bring in our white. So I'm going to use my Dr. P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White. So I'm going to dig out a little bit of it and put it right here on my whatever this mat is. I don't know. And roll off that excess right on my underpaper. Now I'm going to add some water to that. So I'm making nice watercolor. And it just takes a little minute to kind of there we go. Now let's splatter with white. So do you see where we're going? Like it's just layer after layer. So I know that these Queen Anne's lace have a lot of white. The petals are white. So I'm gonna really try and concentrate some of my white splatter. I'm gonna get kind of close and get there, but then I'm gonna go further away and splatter the whole thing. How are we doing on time, you guys? Yikes. Okay, so I think that's pretty good. Clean that off on my under paper, then take paper towel and clean that up. And then let's dry this. And then, so maybe we'll do card making another day. Because I'm just having too much fun painting this. So, but do you get the idea? It's just layers and layers and layers of this. Like we just keep building layers and layers and layers. Right? So we're going to dry the white, and then let's come in and splatter with the colors again and dry that. And then we'll come in and we'll just continue to use deeper concentration of paint and start to work in those details little by little by little. But since we only have 20 minutes, maybe how about if we don't build the cards, but I can show you what I've started, and then we can finish them on Tuesday. What I started when I because I had this big sheet, right? And I wanted to show you the versatility of a great big sheet of art, right? So we could cut it like we did the Timmy into 4, right? And then we can make 4 A2s. But this time, I cut it in 2 slim lines. I'll show you. I'm going to move that so you can see what I'm talking about. So here we go. I think it, yep, right there. So that one goes there. I just looked to like where the flowers were that I really liked, and I just set my dies down there. But then once so I have 2 slim lines right here that I can make, right? And then I was really thinking, but look, I have these 2 strips that I can absolutely make 2 cards from. And I have this long skinny and this long skinny that I can do something with and make 2 more cards. So I'm super excited about creating that. So let's give it its due, and I'll work on those on Tuesday. But just know that like you could do so many different things with one big sheet of art. So let's get back to painting this. Okay, so the white is dry. So now let's come in with our colors, and let's do even more splatters, right? Little by little. Right? That goldy yellow, that's so pretty. Let's get a little water. So I'm telling you, all of those palette colors will just become your best friends. All those pre-mixed colors. That buttercup, I'm gonna get some nice splats on that. But then I really want to get some splats on the center of that white flower, and then some there in the center of the Oh, you know what I realized I didn't do? I didn't do any splats of green. Let's wash that. Let's get some green. So it's just another, you know, it's not going to take the place of all of our other creating. It's just a new fun way to paint. Something fun and new and different. And I feel that the more variety of painting styles that you learn, the better your painting will become. Little by little by little, I promise you. It'll just keep getting better and better and better. Let's get some more pink going here. All right. Did we do everything? Maybe not orange. Let's do a little bit of more orange. Then I think we can, right? Okay, let's try that. And then let's come in and do another. It's so pretty, isn't it, Aunt Mer? And it's, I mean, it's really quite simple. You just need to kind of embrace the slow build. And I think then it just has this cool painterly vibe. Because I will just tell you, once I painted the first ones, I love the way the flowers turned out. I love what I did with them. But the white background, I was like, I don't know. And so then I was thinking, and then I remembered this technique. And I was like, oh, heck yeah. Okay, so let's start building these colors a little bit more. So let's work on our purples. So we want to try and get a little more concentration of color. So a little deeper concentration of color. So let's come back in. And let's, but again, we're still pretty loose, right? But are you starting to see the, I think when you have all of those splatters, it kind of frees you up from feeling like it has to be precise, you know? So little by little, let's build. I think the lupine, especially because they have these funny little cup-like petals, there's all kinds of highs and lows of color on them. So they're super fun to do this technique with, I think. And you know, as you're painting, you could, I mean, I always look up references of those flowers, so I kind of have an idea in my head. Build your own reference file. I mean, Pinterest is a great place for building a reference file of like wildflower colors or, oh, I'm loving that. What a Japanese lantern looks like. What a Black-Eyed Susan looks like. And when you're looking at the picture, then you're gonna go, oh. Then you're gonna see when one petal is on top of another petal, the underneath petal is a little bit darker. So you're just gonna, little by little, build more information in your artsy arsenal, you know? And that can only be good. Okay. Remember, keep building that underpaper, building all those colors on your underpaper. So I'm going to take some of this other purple and do my forget-me-nots. I do want to make sure that I have a little bit on the outside and a little bit on the inside, because I really want those, the center of a forget-me-not, that star is white, and so I really want that white to kind of pop. So to do that, I know I need to have some little bit of contrast down there. So I'm just going to continue to deepen the colors, a deeper concentration of color. But like I said, I really want to work on the contrast between the bluey, purpley petal and that white star. Hey Lenora, how are you? So I hope that everybody will take some time to just really work on building slow layers on these flowers. And seeing what, you know, what comes of it. I am doing great, Lenora. How are all your sisters? Be sure to tell them I said hey. Yatta hey. Oh, I'm so excited to, Lenora, I'm going back home again next week for the Sugar Island powwow. Oh, I can hardly wait. I will see lots of family there, that's for sure. I'm telling you, somebody, this debt collector has the wrong phone number. But I don't want to call them and tell them that it's the wrong phone number, because I don't want to get involved in somebody else's stuff. But we don't even know who that is, the company. Whatever. This one feels... These, I'm loving the way these are looking. These, I'm feeling like, I don't know, maybe I need to... They feel blobbier. I don't know. Maybe because these don't have any of the orange, but I kind of dig the orange on there. So is it starting to like come together? Are you guys starting to see the so I'm gonna add a little bit of orange to this goldy yellow that I have going on down here, just because I want to deepen it just a little bit, but I'm really watering it down too, because I really want to look how pretty that is. And build up what you kind of already have going on. Do you know what I mean? So we know that this petal is darker underneath, but we can still get that same effect, just really loose. But now it's starting to have more definition little by little, right? I know, I'm so excited, Lenora. I always see so much of my family at the powwow. And I think I told you, my brother's feather is on that staff, so I get to see my brother too. So I'm super excited about that. And I'm taking my great niece and nephew, and they've never been, so how fun will that be? So little by little, build up that goldy. And you'll notice that I'm staying on the, right here, I did this little line on the inside of the petals right here, you see? And so I'm not putting the color all the way to the edge because I feel like with that lighter color next to the darker color, it's gonna have this automatic kind of a lip, sort of. And that's kind of cool. And then let's build up the center. The center is going to be deeper yellow too, because it's deep, it's lower. So we want to build that. But I love that it's deep color and then right next to almost white. That's super cool. Okay, so we could do a little bit more color in the centers of these. Wipe up that color on our underpaper, clean our brush. All right, so I'm feeling like I haven't done any work in here, in the center of the Black-Eyed Susan. So I'm just gonna deepen it a little bit and then I can come back and do more definition in between all of those circles, you know? Oh, pink, pink, pink. I think the same thing with this one. We're gonna make the center deep. And then we can come out to the edges. So then it'll look like the petals are going, like, curving down. You know what I mean? And do that jiggy jaggy pounce, pounce, pounce blend, and you'll be so happy. And I feel like by doing the outside of these, I'm getting that same idea. I'm getting that same, I want those little hair kind of petals to kind of curve right out. But I'm gonna do a thin line of pink right around the center, that green center. And I noticed that I haven't built up any of my green, so I still need to work on that. And I know I'm gonna run out of time. I always do. I hope everybody's is starting to see it kind of come together. I kind of am. I'm kind of digging it. So for the orange, because these flowers have these a million little teeny tiny jiggy jaggy on the end petals, I'm just gonna try and do, like, build the color up like at the base of those petals, so it looks like one petal is set over next. Do you know what I'm saying? And then the base of that too. But like right here, right here. And I will just continue and continue and continue to build these layers And then I will probably splatter one more time, because why not? Especially with the white. I feel like the white will really, you know, when you splatter with white, that always just makes everything else pop, doesn't it? So let's work a little bit up here. Yep. Maybe just bits around the edges, so I just have the contrast between the painty background and the petals of the flower. I think that maybe we do that in the very center. So if it feels kind of heavy on paint, remember, just wipe off on your under paper and then just work that out. And then we just get a little bit deeper. I'm feeling like I want to do it here too, like barely any of that orange, and just little by little build out that gold. Wipe off the excess and then come back and do that jiggy blend. I'm trying really carefully to not go into the white, because I really like the juxtaposition of the deep color next to the white. So I'm trying really hard to not, so now I'm just pulling some of this color and wiping it on my under paper. Okay, if you did a water splatter, would that take away from what you're trying to accomplish? I don't know exactly what would happen. So I'm going to try to not do the water splatter, even though, you know, it isn't one of my go-tos. I love it. But for this first time around, I'm not going to do it. I will probably experiment with that on another painting, because this technique is something that I see myself using over and over and over again, because I love how painterly it looks. Like, I love right here. Do you see the, like, look for different sections that you really like. Like, this is nice. This is nice right here. This is nice. All those pinks and purples together. I don't know. I haven't figured out exactly what I want to do, but I see all kinds of possibilities. So where are we? Oh, of course we're over. So I hope that you will all give this a try. I hope that I've inspired you to print off a Melissa art printable and, you know, give Urim a call. A try, not a call. Don't give them a call. It's a paint technique. They don't have a phone number. But give it a try. Just try it and see what you think. And just know that it's just gonna, like, it just takes some time to build up those, to build that new skill. So don't expect perfection from yourself, but you're gonna start to see the definition of your painted flowers or leaves next to the painty background, the watery washy background. But look at, you can see this leaf, I have not used any green. I have not built it up. So you can see the difference between this and these. Do you see what, look, between this and this. Like, I absolutely need to build that up, because you can see the difference. So I hope everybody has a fine Thursday, a tremendous Thursday, as a matter of fact. I know I will because I'm going to be painting some more. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day, out of your life to just get artsy with me. I greatly appreciate it. And I will see everybody. Oh, don't forget, Saturday is Let's Get Artsy Together Apart, and we are going to be celebrating Ms. Frida Kahlo because it was her birthday on Monday or Tuesday. Now I don't remember right now, but so we're going to be paying tribute to her in our art journals on Saturday, and that's a free class at 9 o'clock Arizona time, right back here. Same bat time, same bat station. So join us. We will have ourselves a time. Talk to you soon. Bye.